picture on the right was taken with sunlight.
I mean, sure.
You would? I don't think I would.
I've shot thousands of
Here's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't want to say it.
Right.
Because that would mean the moon missions are fake, and that has an emotional attachment to it. If a college professor teaching aerospace says an Apollo astronaut confessing it was fake would not dissuade him from believing the moon missions are real, then we can understand, no offense, Steve, you have an emotional attachment to the moon landings wanting to be fake. Because we've just proven, you proved yourself, that in order to get the shadows intersecting at 90 degrees from objects 5 feet apart, you needed 2 electrical lights, which means that picture was taken with 2 electrical lights, because that's the way it should look on the left, very similar to your picture in sunlight. And yet you have this reluctance to say the moon missions are fake for, various emotional reasons, pride in science, who knows what. I had the same problem too. I had shadows intersecting, the weird behavior of the astronauts. I saw that picture also, the one on the right, but before I found the footage of them faking being halfway to the moon, and I still would not admit that the moon landings were fake. You see that? I had the same problem that he did. I didn't want the world to be that fallen. Just like Glenn Beck. He says, I know it has gotten bad, but at least we went to the moon. Now let's show a picture of Cyrus Eugene Akers, okay? So I believe that we have 4 times the proof to prove it in a court of law that the moon missions were fake. You cannot have 1,000 times greater technology in the past and in the future. Never happened in the history of the world, period. We have shadows intersecting
except for the Great Pyramids.
Well, no, not really. Those are just rocks piled on top of one another. Because now skyscrapers are 3 times taller with 1/10 of a footprint. So technology
but
has
the variation in
increased.
how square they are is not even close.
Well, I don't know about that. The point is you can build a building that's taller with less of a footprint. 3 times taller with 1/10 of a footprint. So yeah, architecture did improve.
You don't think the pyramids were made by aliens?
No, I think aliens is a lie, because von Braun, who said they were going to fake an alien invasion, he said that right before he died. So, and this is from the guy who faked the moon landing. We can go into that a little bit later. But,
okay.
But
what do you got? What is this, Steve?
Oh, I was trying to find the
another photo of shadows.
No, it's like I was trying to find like a more higher resolution of this, because
gotcha.
it's cropped, and so what else is there?
Did you get this from like a secret archive or something, or is that available online?
It's an Apollo 17 picture.
Apollo 17, okay.
Yeah. So anyway, we've got shadows intersecting at 90 degrees, which cannot happen in sunlight, which means it's an electrical light. We just proved it. We duplicated it with 2 electrical lights, meaning it was taken with 2 electrical lights, which means they're on Earth, not the moon. You can't have 1,000 times greater technology in the past and in the future. It's never happened in the history of the world where a technological breakthrough cannot be repeated 50 years later, when it should be even 1,000 times greater 50 years later. Then we just showed the footage. On the right, them claiming it's the Earth floating in space. On the left, the lights come up. It's a 1-foot model of the Earth. That proves it. Then we have an eyewitness, okay? Cyrus Eugene Akers. If you want to show his picture, it's one of those pictures in the email.
Okay.
He said, as he was dying, fearing the judgment of God, and as best as we can tell from the ancient texts, if you confess your sin and repent of them, you're forgiven, even of murder. And that's what he said. First thing he said.
Are you planning on enlisting or becoming an officer in the U.S. military? ASVAB Tutoring offers ASVAB, ASTB, OAR.
First thing he said is, I want to get off my chest, I committed a murder in 1968. The son was there, and we're going to show a clip of that next. The son was there saying, Dad, who did you kill? He says, I killed a coworker at Cannon Air Force Base. The son immediately calls the military police in to investigate. He wants to give the victim's family closure. Did they just say the guy disappeared? Did he die in an accident? What happened? The military police come in. We're going to see the testimony of him eyewitnessing that. And they said, who did you kill? And he said, who? He said, when? July, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of 1968. On this one there, cue it up to...
Oh, yeah, watch this one.
Cue this one up to 3:36 and play it through 7:28 in just a second. So 3:36 is where we'll start. So Cyrus Eugene Akers... He confessed...
This is his son?
That's his son. He confessed that he killed a coworker at Cannon Air Force Base. He was chief of security over the Air Force's most secure Air Force base. Bill Kaysing said the fake moon landing was supervised by the United States Air Force. Every branch of the military has its special ops division. The Army has it, the Marines have it, and the Air Force has it, and it's at that guy's Air Force Base, Cannon Air Force Base, Clovis, New Mexico. He said he killed a coworker. The military police came in to investigate, and when they said, why did you kill him? He said to cover up the moon landing fraud, because we both eyewitnessed them filming it on a fake set June 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of 1968. And my coworker thought it was morally wrong, and I killed him to cover it up. If you start this clip at 3:36 and play it through 7:28, you're going to hear the son's testimony who eyewitnessed the deathbed confession and the investigation. Go ahead.
I've never known my dad to lie. To get caught lying was worse than whatever it was you did to begin with. I remember going to school with long sleeve shirts on, to hide the purple welts. You did not lie in our house, that's for sure. Dad had a real...
Oh. Buggy today, are we?
Yeah, I guess Musk is having a problem with Starlink.
The CIA.
Really bad attitude towards lying. Excuse me again. Okay. Anyway, this is the story that my dad told me on his deathbed. Project Slam Dunk was the name of this. President Johnson in 1968. Okay. In Cannon Air Force Base in 1968, he said by the time he got there, that there was already 2 large hangars that were connected. There was hundreds of dump trucks that came in and dumped sand and stone, and cement powder was powdered over the top of all that to make it look like a lunar landscape. They had men that fashioned it into a lunar landscape, he said. Okay, I've never known my dad to lie, so this all took me by surprise. You know, what's that all about? So anyway, he said that in front of the airplane hangars was pole framing with large canvas tents that was concealing the inside of the staging area. Inside the staging area, on flatbed trucks, was uncrated the lunar lander that was reassembled back inside the hangars. All of the walls were painted flat black, and the ceilings as well. He was sworn to secrecy by the NSA, and they would put him in prison for breaking that oath. When Dad saw the moon landing on TV, he cried. He said he knew that what he had witnessed on TV was exactly what they recorded in that hangar. There was no reason for them to go flying around and everything. They had detailed high-definition photos of the landing area. There was no reason for them to go flying around to a different landing area that almost exhausted their fuel, except for drama, because everything had gone so smoothly. Nothing, you know, so it had to be something. Anyway, Dad was one of 3 guards that guarded the inside of the front entrance. There was a list of 15 people who could enter. No one else was allowed by order of President Johnson.
True vision starts at the top. Opportunity is wide open in the GMC Hummer EV.
And here is that list, and I gave it to Bart Seibel as well. And he checked out a lot of these names, and he says he can verify a lot of these people and what they do. And I come across a couple myself. Anyway, President Johnson, Neil Armstrong, Edwin Aldrin, Werner von Braun, Robert Emenegger, Gene Kranz, James Webb, Joe Kerwin, Dr. Thomas Paine, Glenn Looney, Dr. Christopher Kraft, Dr. James Van Allen, General Trudeau, Lieutenant Colonel Donald